to my channel. So for today's video we've done a nice pinky purple cut crease tutorial using the JEFFREE Star Blood Sugar palette. I've done this video on my good friend Molly instead of myself, just because one, I much prefer doing makeup on other people, and two, she's got such a good eye space that yeah, I thought it'd make for a really good video. So if you want to see how we got this look, then please just keep on watching. Okay, so to start off we're doing the brows. I always do the brows first when I'm doing makeup, and I'm using the Primark Brow Sketch Pencil. It's only like £2 from Primark, and it is a really good pencil. It's really similar to the MAC brow pencil that a lot of makeup artists use. But yeah, this is like a fraction of the price, so definitely recommend checking that out. And with the brows, always start at the bottom, sort of mark that out, then do the top, and then you can fill in the middle and the front. And then we're going to carve out the brow and prime the lid with the P. Louise base. This is definitely the best thing that you can use as an eyeshadow base. And it's actually really affordable as well, and I'm using a flat brush to apply this to the lid and carve the brows. This is an unnamed brush from Amazon, but if you don't have one of these brushes, I'd recommend getting the Anastasia Beverly Hills 18 brush. You just want something that gives a really crisp flat line when it's coated with concealer, and that's the best way to get a nice carved brow. So then you would just want to pad it all across the lid to prime the lid, and just keep patting that base until it sets. You'll know when it's set because the finish will change to a sort of a satin matte finish from looking wet, and you don't need to use any translucent powder. Just pat it to set, and then use a clean fluffy brush just to buff out any edges so that there's no harsh lines when we come to doing the foundation. Okay, so now we're going to start by going in with the eyeshadow, and we're using the JEFFREE Star Blood Sugar palette for this. It's such a good palette if you're doing any sort of pinks or purple looks, and it's just so easy to blend as well. So before you start applying the shadow, you just want to make sure that the lid is free of any creases. So if the base has creased at all, just quickly pat that all back into place. And then for the first blend, I'm using a brush from Unicorn Cosmetics. This is part of the class of 89 set, I think it is. But yeah, just any really small blending brush is great to go with your first blend. For the deepest colour, and you just want to start applying that all across the lid, making sure that you put it high enough so that when you cut the crease, that first darkest shade is still visible. Now Molly's got really hooded eyes with small lids, just the same as myself. So we want to be taking the cut crease and therefore the first deepest shadow much higher than her actual crease is, because obviously we're going to cut a new crease out in a minute. So yeah, start by applying the shadow in small circular motions, and you want to apply it to one area like I am there. Build up that colour, and then you can move on to the next section. So with this P. Louise base as well, it's great because, you know, the colour really sticks to it. So yeah, build up the colour, blend it in small circular motions, and then you can sort of move on to the next bit. Once you're happy that you've built up the first colour enough, which was Extraction from the palette, by the way, I don't think I said the shade name, you then just want to go in with your second shade. So I'm using Cavity for this on a Morphe M507, and just the same as with the first colour, apply it in small circular motions, and you want to make sure that the brush is half on the first colour and half off, and that's the best way to get the most tidiest blend. But yeah, just same as before, apply it in small circular motions, building up the colour as you go around, and just keep doing that until you're sort of happy with the shape and how dark the colour is. And if you do sort of make any mistakes and you go too high, or you want to make the shape a bit more tidier, then just go in with another small clean fluffy brush, get a bit of the P. Louise base on it, a really tiny bit, and you can just use that to sort of rub out any mistakes that you've made. And then for the third blend, we're going in with Zoeva 224, I think it is. I always use this brush for my last blend. It just blends like a dream. And the shade for this from the palette is Tongue Pop. Now with this last blend, you can sort of be a bit more looser with the blending. Still aim for the half on, half off. But because this is the last blend, you know, you want it to be nice and faded out. So you use really light pressure with this, as with all of the colours when you're blending. But yeah, you can take this one out as, you know, as far as you want until it's as blown out as where you want it to be. So once the blends are all applied, we're now going to intensify all the colours by working back down to the deepest colour, because you can sometimes find that they sort of lose their intensity as we work up. So start with the middle colour on the Morphe M507 and intensify that, and then you can work back down to the deepest shade, again in the same small circular motions, and just keep applying it until you're happy with how dark the colours are. And I always bring them up slightly higher when I'm working down. And then just use a fluffy brush at the edge, at the end, to make sure that there's no harsh edges. So now we can start applying the cut crease, and for this, the same brush, the P. Louise base. Make sure the brush is nice and saturated so you get that really nice crisp line, and yeah, just follow the shape round. And make sure you get your client or yourself, if you're doing it on yourself, to keep opening their eyes regularly, so that you can make sure the cut crease is placed high enough when their eyes are completely open. Because you'll find that if someone has hooded eyes, once they open their eyes, a lot of that lid space will disappear. And for the cut crease, I like to just place the brush on and then sort of swipe it down, and that should give you a really nice crisp line. So once you've carved out the shape, you just want to apply the P. Louise base all over the lid, again using the same patted motions, and we're going to use this for our pigment to stick to as well. We're using the Peaches and Cream Mermaid's pigment for this, which is just absolutely amazing. It's a really nice iridescent finish. And then we're going to use the same colours that we used for the blends, and fill in the outer edge of the cut crease with that, and this will just make sure that once we've got the pigment on there, it all blends in nice and seamlessly together, and again there's just no harsh lines. To apply the pigment to the lid, I'm using a Peaches and Cream pigment applicator brush. You can use any fluffy brush for this, or you can even use a flat brush to apply the pigment. But I just prefer to use a fluffy brush. I think you get more of an effect from the glitter, and then you'll see in a minute I do just use another flat brush to sort of go right up to the edges so that it's all nice and tidy and crisp looking. Now I'm going to apply some eyeliner to the lid. I'm using the Inglot 77 gel liner for this. You can use just a normal liquid eyeliner as well, but I really love to use this product. It's really black and it stays on for ages as well. So I'm just using an angled brush. This brush is from the P. Louise Acid Rain collection. To apply this to the lid, and I'm not doing a wing liner, just across the lid, so that when we put the lashes on it all blends in nice and seamlessly together. So once we've finished with the top of the eyes, we're just going to move on to the bottom. I'm using here one of the P. Louise Acid Rain paints. I'm using this in the waterline, and it's really great because it's self-setting, so you don't need to go over it with any powder to set. And then once you've applied whatever product you're applying in the waterline, it's the same P. Louise base underneath the eye, just to give the eyeshadow something to stick to. And again, I'm applying this with a flat brush. Press that brush right up to the lash line and pull down, and again just pat it to set. And you want to make sure that the model stays looking up, or yourself if you're doing it on yourself, just to prevent any creasing. And of course, if any creasing does happen, just pat those creases out before you go in with applying the shadow. We're using the exact same shadows that we used on the lid. So we're starting with the deepest colour on a really small pencil brush, followed by the second deepest colour, again doing that half on half off method. And like I said before, you can just clean out any edges with a clean brush to keep the blends nice and tidy. So yeah, once the second blend is applied, then just do the last colour blend. And what I normally do as well is once the base makeup is applied, I'll use the lightest colour, and again just blend out the edge with that, just to make sure that it's nice and seamless. Once that's all applied, I then just go in and re-intensify the colours, working back up to the deepest colour, just like we did on the top, and that just makes sure that the colours stay nice and blended while still looking nice and intense. So for the lashes, I'm using Primer Lash, the brand Primer Lash, in the style Katie Daly, the model. These lashes are just absolutely amazing. I always use Primer Lash on clients and on myself, just because they've got so many different styles to choose from. And yeah, always make sure that you let the glue really dry until it's almost completely dried, so that when you put it on the lid it just sticks on, there's no sliding around. And it just makes it a lot easier. So now the eyes are done, we can start on the base. I've already moisturised Molly's skin using the Emberless Liquorine Concentrate, and now I'm applying the NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation. I do start off by applying the shade Stromboli, but then I add a little bit of Barcelona over the top, just because I wasn't quite happy with the colour match. I always use the Peaches and Cream PC04 brush to apply foundation, which is just a really big fluffy brush, and it's amazing. I use it on all my clients and myself, and it just gives a really nice smooth finish. You can use beauty blenders, but I just prefer the way that brushes the finish that they give overall. So yeah, just patting this all into the skin, and then also just bring it slightly down the neck as well, so that there's no harsh lines or colour difference. So now we're going to go in with concealer. The Too Faced Born This Way concealer is my absolute fave, and I'm using the shade Light Beige. It just gives a really nice coverage, and it's really hydrating as well. So yeah, highly recommend getting this. I use a big fluffy brush to apply my concealer. This one's actually just an unnamed one from Superdrug, but yeah, any fluffy eyeshadow brush will do for your concealer. When you're bringing it up to sort of under the under eye blends, just make sure obviously you don't go too high up and into those blends. When actually applying the P. Louise base under the lids, I always bring it down quite far so that you know that all the skin's covered when it does come to applying the concealer. Now I'm using the MAC Studio Fix powder in NC20 just to set underneath the eyes, and then I'm going to use the MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC30 just all over the rest of the face to set. I do sometimes use loose powders, but I do generally prefer the finish that the MAC powders give. They just make the skin look really nice and smooth. And now we're going to apply the bronzer. I'm using a Zoeva brush for this, and I'm using MAC Dark Tan. MAC bronzers are just the best. Yeah, absolutely love them. And then for the bronzer, you want to apply it going from the tragus towards the nose, and that sort of gives you that really nice line. It does give a contouring effect as well. I don't personally use contour powders, as I just find that, you know, once you apply the bronzer in the right place, it gives all the dimension that you need to the skin. And yeah, I think that while contouring can look nice on pictures, in real life, for me it just doesn't look right. I prefer to just use a bronzer. And then we're applying that to the forehead, a bit under the chin to give that chin and jawline some nice definition, and then just on the nose as well. For blush, I'm using a Too Faced blush. It's just a really nice nude colour. And then I also go over the top of that with some of this P. Louise blush. This is just like a shimmery blush. I don't think she actually sells this, but yeah, it is amazing. And then for highlight, I'm using the Doll Beauty highlighters. It's Shine Bright and Like a Diamond. So I always set my face with setting spray first. I'm using the Urban Decay setting spray for that. And then while the skin is still slightly damp, I then apply the highlighter, and it just makes it look really nice and shiny. And again, using a small fluffy brush to apply this. I think this is the Molly O'Brien Layla brush, I think it's called. And now we can see Molly is looking nice and glowing, and she's clearly feeling herself. So for lips, I'm just going to go in with, I think it's Morphe Toffee, I think it's called, lip liner. I do normally use Cork, which is pretty much the same, but I just couldn't find it today. So yeah, Toffee lip liner, and then MAC Myth for the lipstick, I think it was. Yeah. And then I just go over this in a second with the Peaches and Cream lip gloss in the shade Sisterhood. Peaches and Cream lip glosses are really nice and they're really affordable as well. And then just to finish off, I use some Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade 3 just through the brows. Pop mascara on the bottom lash line, and I put a tiny bit through the false lashes as well. And then for the inner corner highlight, I use the shade Pigment from Peaches and Cream. And yeah, just pop that in the centre. I would normally use something to make this pigment stick, but I just forgot here. But yeah, it's a really nice blinding in the corner highlight as well. Just be careful with the fall off that it doesn't fall all over the face. And there we have it. That is the finished look, and how gorgeous does she look? And yeah, she just looks absolutely beautiful. we go everyone, that's the finished look. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Comment down below in the comment section and let me know what kind of video you want to do next. I think I'll probably do more videos like this, makeup looks on a model as opposed to on myself. But yeah, so let me know what kind of looks you want to see. And also in future videos I probably will try to speak, you know, talk through the tutorial while I'm filming. But while I just get used to videoing and all that kind of stuff, we'll stick with the voiceovers for now. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel because it is a new channel and I'm just getting started, so that would really help me out. Like the video, share it, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope I see you in the next video. Bye!